I get asked all the time, why is the NFL so successful? I really do get asked that. And it's a simple answer, okay? It's multiple parts, but it is simple. One, it's the greatest narrative-generating machine ever. Two, the offseason is long enough to keep your juices flowing. The season is just long enough to make you want more, okay? And each game is spaced out by a week, so there are such few games, they all matter so much, and there's so much for you to talk about in between games. You know, how many times do you talk about, well, man, what happened with Durant and Kyrie and this, that, the other thing, and the Nets, man, they just blew that last night. That was a game they should have won. And then, boom, they play one the next night and they win. Baseball, same way. Hockey, same way. Football, spaced out. And then you've got the casual fan locked in because of your fantasy team. Everybody who normally wouldn't follow a league gets their fantasy teams all built, and they feel like they're the new general managers of the year, and they walk around offices and boast and send texts, and they're locked in on their team. So the casual fans are there, and then, of course, there's gamblers who can't get enough.
Can't get enough.
But please bet responsibly.
Of course. So
I'm serious. Like, you put it all together, and plus, you know what? The stars of the game do interviews. Rodgers, you've seen him all different places. We have stars of the NFL call in here, and I don't take it for granted. Try getting Bryce Harper to call into a show. Trout. I'm serious. Try and get, Aaron Judge, who I would take on this show 15 days to Sunday. How many times you see him do a thing nationally? A thing.
Never.
That's a good point. These guys got a lot of time on their hands, these baseball players, right?
I'm just saying, hoops. Like, what top star athlete in the NBA makes himself available talking to fans on shows like this one? And I understand that this is very egocentric of us to say our show is important and you should call in, but we have a platform, and there are many others like this. But NFL players, they call. Even Brady does his own podcast once a week. I mean, like, you hear from them. The accessibility is there. So, I put it all together. And so that's why the NFL is so successful. And then you talk about narrative-generating machines. There's week-to-week storylines. There's in-game storylines that lead to week-to-week storylines. There's season-long storylines. And then the season-long storylines that I just laid out for you are set up. The month of March this year, insane. Brady unretires, and then Russell Wilson leaves the Seahawks, gets traded to Denver, and then on the same day, Bobby Wagner gets cut loose. And then Tyreek Hill wakes up one day and says, I want to be traded, and then winds up on the Dolphins that day. I'm sure there was lots going on behind the scenes before all of that. Name any of the free agent transactions off the top of your head. And you can top it. Davante Adams leaves the Packers after Rodgers says he's signed and coming back.
Right.
To go to the Vegas Raiders to make the AFC West the deepest division in football, along with the number of players. Randy Gregory of the Cowboys says, I'm coming back, and no, I'm going to Denver. He's on the Broncos. We're going to see him chasing down Geno Smith Monday night. Matt Ryan changes addresses. Then you throw the draft onto the mix. And I'm not even naming half of the transactions that happened. A.J. Brown, a draft day trade to Philadelphia. He gets paid. Debo says, I'm out. Then he's back. The Jimmy G saga. I mean, every team seems to have something like that. That's why, this could be the greatest NFL season ever, because of all those storylines leading into the highly anticipated kickoff tonight, and the fan bases around the NFL. I know there's so many arguments about who's got the most passionate fan base. Buffalo Bills are up there, and everybody's talking about this team. I'm one of them as Super Bowl winners, and they're the ones trying to spoil a banner-raising party tonight in Los Angeles, where there used to be no football.
No, now there's two teams.
Now there's 2 teams, and everybody thinks both teams can win the Super Bowl. Kyler Murray. I knew I had this piece of paper.
Still have it?
You bet I do. Here it is. I keep it on the desk. This is what essentially kicked everything off, because it all started with Kyler Murray scrubbing his Instagram account on the Monday of Super Bowl week here in this town. Then it led to a whole hoo-ha with this thing coming out right before the combine of him saying, I want out if I don't get paid. Then he gets paid, and we find out there's a clause in the contract that the team is so concerned about his study habits, they demand he has iPad time without a second screen.
That was so weird.
And then they take that clause out because there was such a stink about it, and he doesn't have his top receiver because he gets suspended in the middle of all this for 6 games.
For PEDs.
Dude, this is insane. The longer I talk, the more I remember all the crazy ass, you-know-what stuff, happened. The hell going on is what Stephon Diggs tweeted out on March 23rd.
Hell going on.
And that was the Tyreek Hill news.
That was Tyreek Hill.
Right. And then a week later, Bobby Wagner winds up here in Los Angeles with the defending world champs, who, by the way, just minutes ago announced Les Snead and Sean McVay, the general manager and head coach, have had contract extensions.
Through 2026.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Because, as you know, they're a dynamite combination. And in terms of McVay, there is a lot of football that I would love to see him coach. And in Les Snead, there is a lot of picks I'd like to see him F. Keep on effing. And then, of course, I adore his wife, who I've known for a quarter century, and I love that she's going to be in town at least for the next 5 years. Or forevermore. I love it. I couldn't love it more. I love this sport. I love talking about it. I love you wanting to talk about it.